This episode of the podcast is brought to you by the UK's #1 coral selling website, coral-auctions.co.uk and reefdog.etsy.com for all your 3D printed aquarium accessory needs. What's up, YouTube? Hello, everybody. What was that weird noise then? Was that like a boob?
No, I moved. I feel like I'm too low, so I was just moving my computer.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Prestige Reefing Show. Today, we are going to be talking about, the title is Demystifying the Reef Tank Reset. So, it's when and how to safely restart your tank. So there's, Ryan's been resetting his tank, his main tank recently, his water box tank, and he reset the farm, or well, one section of the farm recently, the coral farm. You've forgotten.
I just remembered, because I was, when we spoke just before this, I was thinking I must write that down as something to talk about. So anyway, continue.
And also, I got someone asked the other day about removing rock and putting in new rock. And this actually leans into a little bit about another idea that we're going to do next week, maybe, that was about worrying about small things that don't really matter in the hobby. But that's what we're going to be talking about today, basically. And there are two types of reset, I think. One, when you've got a problem and you need to reset it, and two, when you're not happy with the way it's panned out because of your coral choices or your aquascape or whatever. So we're going to get into that. But before then, we've got a solid hour and a half of boring nonsense to catch up with. So, Ryan,
look, he's really selling the live stream today, isn't he?
I know, yeah.
Boring nonsense. I feel Alex is he's a bit sensitive today. He's a bit like fragile. So just be gentle with him in the comments.
Sensitive? No, not sensitive. I go through. So I started a new channel this week, and the one thing I need, I think, was a fourth YouTube channel. I think we can all agree with that.
Okay. What's this channel?
It's not. I haven't really started a channel. I just put a video out. If you're into DIY solar and micro inverters, then you'll bloody love it. So go. I'm not going to tell you what the channel's called. You won't be able to find it. It's one video with 200 views on it.
It got 200 views.
Yeah. Well,
for a brand new channel.
Yeah, but if you go to the community tab on my page, you'll find the video. So if you really want to watch it, then do that. But it's going to be boring for 99% of people. But there was my favorite. What I realized is my favorite genre of video to make is when I see something that loads of people tell you is amazing, and it's usually sponsored. And hey, click the link for a discount code, and I earn a commission on that. And I think is actually a bit rubbish. And I like to make a video saying, look, it's not terrible, but these are all the reasons that you might not like it. And if you don't care about any of that, great, go and buy it. But if you do care about that, now you know. And I really enjoy making those videos. So I'm going to make some videos along those lines. But what I realized was I've made 7 videos this year.
Yeah.
Across all my channels.
Is that all you've done? I thought you were doing them like every week. 7
videos in a month.
In a month?
I don't know. Yeah, it's January. Right?
Oh, okay. Well, sorry, I was like, I was just doing it the whole year. I'm like, you're less than me.
No. So last year I averaged more than 1 video a week, excluding the live stream, of course, across the channel. And this year I've done 7 so far, which is actually quite a lot in 4 weeks. But only 2 of them have been reefing videos. And so I enjoy the reefing. I'd stop if I didn't. I wouldn't bother. So I enjoy it. But I find myself more excited about other stuff. So the motorbike stuff I'm more excited about, and I want to get that excitement back. So I want to try to change things somehow. So I feel more pumped about making videos. So on the reefing stuff.
It's interesting because you obviously enjoy making videos, even if they're about random stuff.
Yeah.
See, I was never one to. I never enjoyed making the videos. Obviously, that wasn't how the channel started. And then I was obviously it was pushed into it. I like to do the editing and the script writing and stuff like that. Whereas actually being on the video was never for me. And so although I enjoyed the last 2 weeks of videos, the video I did this week, I did not enjoy at all. It was
Really?
like a painful slug doing this video. I don't know why. Whereas I think the next video, I think it's because I'm talking about stuff I'm talking about testing and it's not exciting. Whereas the next video is going to be Coral will go into the water box, I assume, assuming everything goes okay this week. So I think I'll be excited about that. But I just like, you are the only reason that video went out this week. I'm not joking. Like, I knew that the first thing that you would say is why haven't you put a video out if I didn't do it?
Yeah.
So in my mind all day, I was thinking, oh God, I've got to do this for Alex.
Yeah, okay, that's funny. So I don't necessarily, I find it a bit of a grind. So the one I made this week was just, so I'm not going to grow that channel. I'm not going to set it up. I might make half a dozen videos on it. I'm not going to.
Is it called Solar Dog?
It's not. It's called Alex James, and there's like a million channels called Alex James. James is my middle name. That's just that channel that I've had for like 15 years, and I just I don't. If a company asks me if I've got a problem with something, and so, like with my car, and someone says, "Can you send me a video?" I upload it to that channel, put it as private, and send it. So anyway,
Alex James, I got some cheese knives for you if you want. That's like an inside joke between me and Alex, because for Alex's wedding, I got him some cheese knives, and on the outside of it, it was engraved Alex, Mr. and Mrs. James. But Alex's name, I'm not going to say his last name, but his last name is not James.
But because I checked it ages ago on my Google account to Alex James because I wanted a bit of anonymity. And then I was like, you know what, I just don't care. So I changed it back to the full one. But I couldn't remember where. There was one section that you have to change it. Otherwise, it remains as Alex James.
Yeah.
And now, so my YouTube channel is called Alex James, just because I don't. Well, I do know how to change it, to be fair now. But anyway, the process of making that video, because I'm not trying to grow the channel or whatever, was actually a bit of a ball ache. I had to do a script, had to like make sure what I was saying was accurate, and recording all the footage. Bloody hell, it was a pain in the ass. And that was a bit of a drag. But I really wanted to make the video. So that's what I enjoy. Is like, there are some times when I really want to make a video because I want to get information out there, especially because there's a company called EcoFlow that make a load of batteries and solar energy stuff, and some of it is really good, but all of the videos, like 90%, is sponsored, and this was given to me for free, and there's a discount code in the description that gets me a commission. And that doesn't mean that people can't be honest. It doesn't mean it's not useful. I still find those videos useful. But especially if you're on commission, it's different. So I like that there's a different perspective out there, and that's what I enjoy doing, I think, to be fair. And I've done that. I try to be balanced on all my videos, no matter what. I've done that a few times with Reefing, like the Reef Bot. You thought that was a really critical video. I didn't think it was that bad, but that was a piece of equipment that I'd seen a lot of people say is brilliant, and I thought, I actually don't like that. I thought that's no good. But I didn't make the video saying this is terrible, don't buy it, because I think there are some people who will like it. So instead, I made a list of all the reasons that you might not like it. And if you don't care about any of them, great, go ahead and buy it. But if you do care, now you know you've got a more critical perspective. So
that was the weirdest advert for them I think they've ever received.
I still think it's a good advert. It's gonna match people. That will help match people who are right for that device.
Set them,
so you won't get disappointed customers.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Talking about solar panels actually moves on nicely to the first thing I have to talk about. I have a meeting with someone tomorrow for solar panels.
So, really? On your house, on the farm?
On the house, yeah. So I don't really understand what it is fully. Someone came round the other day, and normally when people knock on the door, I'm like, I'm not interested. But about probably 6 months ago, someone came around and suggested solar panels to me, and I said, "Look, we're not gonna be able to come to an agreement because it'll be too. My electricity bills are like £500 a month plus, so like whatever benefit you think you can get from me, you're never going to get it back." And he went, "Look, you are the person to be doing this," and I just said, "Look, I'm not interested. Not the right time." Yeah. So he went away, and ever since that moment, I thought to myself, like, did I just make a mistake because I was doing something potentially or whatever? Anyway, so someone came over the other day. The guy was well nice. Like, he was probably like 20, and he just said, "Look, I'm trying to sell some solar panels, or trying to get meetings for people to solar panel companies." And I explained the same thing to him again. I said, "Look, I've got a coral farm," and he went, "You have a coral farm?" And I went, you want to come and see it? And he went, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of people who've been in that, like, occasionally, like delivery drivers or postmen who see weird stuff turn up all the time. Eventually they go, what is this turning up in a polybox? And I'm like, okay, I'll show you. Because it's not normal to have a box saying live animals for anyone outside of the reefing community.
Yeah.
So he came in and he looked at it, he was like, this is crazy. So in the end I went, okay, look, I will I'll meet the person. So they're coming tomorrow. And apparently it's for everything, for batteries to be able to store the energy, the solar panels. And I don't really know how it works. They basically just said to me, and someone in the chat might go, yeah, this is a scam or whatever. But they said that what you do is you keep paying the same amount you pay at the moment. And then the amount the solar panels generate, well, let's say you're paying £500 a month, and then they generate £100. Well, if I'm still paying £500, they're taking the £100. Do you see what I mean? And that pays off.
They don't lease space on your roof, do they?
I don't know.
So there are two types. If you buy it and just put them up yourself, that's fine.
Yeah.
But there are some companies that will lease the space on your roof from you, and they put the panels up. That's a really bad idea.
Well, I've not said yes to anything. He's coming over. He's coming over tomorrow. I actually am probably going to say to him, look, you're all right if I record this conversation just so I know, because I won't remember this. And if you've got nothing dodgy to say, then there's no reason not to record it. Or I might even just do it secretly so I can like listen to it back. You see, like, who's going to know if I just put my phone on the desk?
But tell me what he says, because I haven't done it because it's too expensive and the payoff time is like 7 years basically.
Well, he said to me, with electricity bills that high, you will pay them off in like he said you'll probably pay them off in like two to 3 years.
That feels optimistic to me, but still, you'll be quicker, that's for sure. That was one of the things. So actually, this review I did the other day, the website says that you'll pay off in 2 years, and it's theoretically possible for that to happen, but like. The kind of person who would be able to pay off in 2 years would never buy that system. It's completely unsuitable. And the reality is, it's probably more like double that or half that.
So, I would never sign up tomorrow anyway. I'm just humoring him just to see what he says and go like, and because that's his job. He's supposed to come sell something to me, but that doesn't mean people sign the dotted line straight away.
No, exactly.
So I'm just gonna go, look, give me the information that you think, and then I'll look into it, and that's it.
Completely. So, yeah. That's solar would be a really good. I've been talking to you about that for ages. Solar and batteries would be really good. It's expensive, but it would save you a lot of money in the long run.
It's interesting. A lot of people are saying like lots and lots of negative stuff. The company I googled, and they had like loads of positive like reviews from customers, and I know they can be faked, but I looked through and they look like real people. And then they had one negative part where the woman was complaining because there was something that was missed off the quote and she didn't get what she was, but that wasn't a bad service. That wasn't unhappy with it. That's something was missed off. So, but what it would do, it would mean that there would be no issues with regards to any power cuts anymore, because you'd have batteries, so there would always be power. I assume this is what I was told.
You can do that. You have to do it. That it costs a little bit more to get that, but
yeah, but that's what like that.
You get the Rolls Royce one.
Yeah. I would just because I want to make sure. If I'm going to do it, there's two reasons. Firstly, for protection for the farm, and secondly, to potentially reduce the electricity bills. But we shall see. But I thought Alex will be so excited when he hears that.
But so I like solar energy generally, but it does particularly suit reef keepers because tanks use so much juice, and if you can reduce your electricity bill, then happy days. So
that's the first part of my week in reefing. If I can start,
okay.
So you mentioned about the farm reset, which I will. I know we'll talk about later, but just very briefly, it's been 2 weeks now. And I have noticed a notable difference with the growth on the Montipora. So I might have fixed it.
Interesting. Okay.
I might have fixed it.
In 2 weeks, that's quite, okay.
Yeah, as in you start to get, like, when I say growth, I don't mean like it's now an inch. I mean, there was no growth. There was no growth around the edge. You know how it gets like a white growth ring? It was like nothing. It was just like stagnant.
Yeah.
And now there is. So something has changed in the system, which has made the corals happier. I don't think it's just doing a big water change, if I'm honest, because I pretty much do that size water change every week.
It was removing those dodgy
It could be all the detritus that was
legs.
removed,
Yeah, yeah.
or it could be that, or it could be the legs, the PLA legs, which had basically corroded.
That's what I was thinking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny because you would never know, as the average person, as like me, for example, you would never know that if you put PLA into your tank, if someone said, "Oh yeah, this goes in the reef tank," you would never know that could cause a problem, but it can.
It's funny because I've said before, we've talked about this ages ago, and I've never done it. I've never put PLA in my tank, but I've always thought, well, why not? Because it is biodegradable. It's not like a harmful material, so it doesn't matter. So I've always thought, well, there's no reason, but you just don't do it because if you look it up, nobody puts that in reef tanks. Everybody uses something else. So don't go against the grain. To be fair, that's like a lesson in reefing generally. If you're doing something that nobody else is doing, it's probably a bad idea. You're not a genius.
You tell that to the guy who first decided to put vodka in his tank. He was like, "I'm just gonna, this might work."
yeah, okay.
But I know what you mean. But
the one in a million will get it right. But yeah,
yeah. But we'll see. As I said, as long as like some of the Monties were like faded, and as I said, in the bottom tray, totally fine. Top tray, not happy, and they're the same species. They're genetically identical. So I have noticed a difference in coloration, and as I said, there's definitely some growth there. So it could be that.
Yeah. So when I did the when I did a 50% water change on my tank.
Oh, you've frozen, or I've frozen. Now we did this last week, so if he's still there,
no, I broke up. It's all right. I'm back.
Yeah, you're back. Okay, I always panic now because I never know if people can see me. No, he's gone again.
Why? You will always be live, by the way, Ryan. If I disappear, you will always be live. The stream always continues.
I'll make sure I don't just start picking my nose or anything then. So we're all good.
But the one thing to do if you do a reset is, and we'll talk about this, is don't just go back to your old habits, because it's only a matter of time before you end up back where you were before. So you're defeating the objective.
Well, I promise you, I won't reprint 50 PLA legs and put them into the into the farm. So
exactly.
And it's just a warning: if anyone does have stuff that's 3D printed and you don't know what it's made of, I would be concerned, basically, just because you never know. If you just bought it off eBay, I would be concerned. Just make sure you know what it's made of.
Everywhere I've seen people print PETG. Sorry, if you've ever bought anything from me, if it's not like, if it's a test kit caddy, it's made of PLA. But if it's anything that goes, no, if it's anything that goes, even that actually, if it's anything that goes in the tank or even that touches water. So I've made lid holders for the first wave 78. One of those ideas that as soon as I did it, I was like, that is genius. It just holds the lid out the way. So because it's a pain in the ass, you've got nowhere to put it during maintenance or whatever. Anyway, that touches the top of the water. So that would be fine in PLA, but I print it in PETG because it touches the water. So anything that I make that touches water will always be PETG. If it doesn't touch the water, no problem. But and I think most people realize that, and most people, even if you're buying off eBay or whatever, I'd be surprised if you get much stuff that is PLA. But you can tell, it's really obvious to anybody who knows. So if you're not sure, post on a Facebook group and say, is this PLA or PETG, and someone will be able to tell you. It's really obvious.
There you go. So I was obviously just tricked. So but
yeah, but I mean, the type of people buy from people, right? And if you have someone who's, I know. Yeah, that wasn't the only issue with the person you bought off. Is probably best not go into it. But anyway, moving on to more positive things.
Yes,
you are. There's like the 7 degrees of separation.
Yeah,
you are basically directly linked to Mr. Beast.
Oh yeah, I saw this the other day. Did you actually find? Because obviously I told you that, but did you find the video that I was referring to?
I didn't. I didn't look. No.
So every so often, someone is in the chat. It's not been here for a little while, so if he's here today, then let me know. But there's a guy called Woody's Gamer Tag, And I was watching a video that has Mr. Beast in it, where he was talking about when he started his channel and who was inspirational to him. And he said that Woody's gamer tag was a big inspiration to him. And I'm like, I know that guy.
He was watching us.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it was interesting because like there is a there's like the chances are they probably know each other now, because like why wouldn't he? Well, like you would think Mr. Beast probably would reach out and go, look, you're a big inspiration to me.
Yeah.
So I just thought, I thought it was funny. So when I saw that, I immediately had to message Alex going, oh, there's a guy who knows Mr. Beast.
Yeah, we're basically friends with Mr. Beast. I might phone him and be like, do you want to do a collab? You know?
Yeah.
I'll set you up a reef tank, you know.
But the reason we're mentioning it is because we wanted to know if you still watch the live stream. So if you do still watch the live stream, even if you watch it later, send me a message because I'm intrigued. So and we need you to hook us up with the the big man.
That's it, yeah.
So
that would be like you or me doing a collab with someone like Mr. Beast would just be a disaster. Because,
no, I'm just joking. He wouldn't have any interest in us.
No. Anyway, what else have you been up to? Oh, actually, I was going to ask you a question. I saw in your video today you were testing your salinity with a Milwaukee tester.
Yes.
I just
I've not had. I don't have a caddy for it. But I don't really think I need a caddy for it unless you're like, no, don't say that. I'm about to sell stuff. Oh, sorry. I mean, I think I need a caddy for it. Yes.
No. I'm not trying to sell it, but if you want one, I'll send you one because they're really good.
What makes them really good? Just out of interest.
It keeps everything together. So it's got the little pipette. It's got the little fingerprint cloth to clean the.
I lost those ages ago.
Exactly. And it's got a little holder for the water bottle and a cap, because you're supposed. You didn't put, when you tested the salinity, I didn't see you put the light your hand over the.
That I do. That I do.
You
yes.
do. Okay, fine.
Yeah. No, I didn't. Right. I don't put my hand over it to test the salinity. I put it over to calibrate it. Are you meant to do it for both?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Oh, Ryan.
I never ever put my hand over it. I did not know that was a thing.
I think you are, because it's supposed to be dark anyway. But yeah, just put something together.
If you like, that probably would be interesting, because I always do think that whenever I calibrate, I go, oh, is there a little bit of light going through as I put like a little my hand cups over it. So if you got one and they're not like crazy expensive, so
no, it's Prestige Reef doesn't pay for anything basically. So.
Thank you. You're like not out of choice. Just I just know he won't pay for it.
Exactly. I'm just saying that on the video. As soon as the camera goes off, I'm like, mate, it's 50 quid. So
yeah. I don't. The caddy probably no, but the little cup thing I probably would use. Like if I'm honest, okay. Or do they have to?
It all goes together. None of this. No half measures.
Okay.
So anyway, was there other stuff you've been doing? Because a couple of things I wanted to mention.
Look, the only other things is obviously the thing is you saw the video, and if people have watched the video, and they would have had the update already. The Japanese masked angelfish is still alive, miraculously. I have no idea how he's still alive. It's been
he looked
like
battered, by the way.
Yeah, no, but I think
I saw your video today.
I don't think it's the fish. I don't think that's being battered from the female angelfish. I think that he's actually getting worse because he's not eating. But every day, every day I literally take him out and like I can catch him by my hand, and wow. Because like you can do it with koi carp and other fish. So I just thought, well, like what's the difference? And I'm just really gentle and like push slowly. He does not like it, and which I understand, but. Like the alternative is is my theory is like there is a possibility that he might be able to come back because there's no logical reason for him to be in that state, if you see what I mean. Like
everything is good now. Yeah, there's no environmental concerns for him. So
and he's swimming around and he reacts to food, but he won't eat any. So I just thought I'll give it a go. And every day I catch him with one hand and then use the pet in the other hand. I didn't show on the video because I just think it's too much.
It's like foie gras, like force feeding ducks, isn't it? It's probably not a good look.
Do I think he'll survive? I would say I would give him a very, very low survival rate, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
He does appear to be getting better, like more active, but and unless he starts eating in the next couple of days, because even when I feed him, he spits most of it out. So
Yeah.
sometimes I put one bit of my in, it stays in, but if I put like a couple of bits, he'll just spit them out. So,
God,
but
yeah. Bad.
no one can say I don't go like above and beyond to try to like do what needs to be done.
Well, you said in the video today, I've never put this much effort in. I was thinking, oh, what you put in like 10 times the amount of live food, garlic, all this, and you take him out, put him in a bowl, and force feed him. I'm like, bloody hell! I don't know if I'd do that.
Well, as I said, he's one of my favorite fish. He would be second to the king eye,
Tiger,
and I've kind of accepted that, like he probably will die. But just because I've accepted that doesn't mean I can't do everything I can. And there comes a point though where I go, am I just like, I don't want to like accept it, but am I causing him more stress and harm? And I should just put him down. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
have you? So yeah, I know what you mean. I don't think it's at that stage as yet. Have you got clove oil, by the way?
I have. Yeah, I think that's what I think. I've got something like that. Yeah.
So I've got a little bottle of clove oil in case I need to do that.
Yeah.
But it's a real last resort, isn't it?
I've got a little bottle of something, but I see. I don't know. As I said, I don't know, and I don't know. Like, there comes this moral dilemma where you go, "Am I doing the right thing? Is it for him or is it for me?" You know, when people have a dog and that dog stopped eating and they still like force feeding it. I'm going, and it's like, yeah, that dog is probably. I understand that you've had it for 16 years or whatever, but there comes a time when it's not good for the dog anymore. So
I used to know a vet, and one of the frustrations was when a dog is or a cat is at the end of their life. And the vet it's like, I'm sorry, you need to end this now because it's cruel. It's gone beyond 1% chance. Still, it's cruel. And that's effectively what you're talking about, isn't it? I don't think it's just looking at. I mean, it's just a video I've seen, but it doesn't look like he's close to that yet. He's still in the water column, you know.
It's like he's mentally like he's not there. That's the problem. He's mentally not there. It's almost so he swims around like he did normally, but occasionally he'll just swim into something, and I'm like, he's not blind, but I wonder if he hit his head or something, and that was it. Like, and it could have been me catching him, chasing him around, trying to get him out of the tank. It could have been me running away from the female. I don't know. The thing that annoys me the most is that if I'd not moved him, and I kept him in that tank, I'd probably have had him another 10 years potentially.
Yeah, totally.
So,
because he looks like a female in the video. He's just lost all his color. Even looks quite small, you know.
I think it's more of the lighting. I use the yellow filter rather than the orange one for that clip. So I would say he's roughly the same color, but he definitely is thinner, and he's also like sort of like a weird. He's not round. He's like a weird shape, if you see what I mean.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
But that's it. I know you said you want to talk about something. The only other thing to mention quickly is, which is a very quick change in tune, obviously, is I got a couple of new fish, a Regal Angel and a Starkey Damsel.
I saw you got a Regal Angel.
Yeah, he was like, it's the worst thing ever. I go to the wholesaler. I'm trying to go every 2 weeks, and I go to myself. I'm not buying anything for myself this week. Like, I'm not, because imagine your job requires you to go to the fish shop and have restraint that you don't buy anything.
And you go to the ultimate fish shop, the wholesaler, where they've got everything.
And I like they had small Regals and they've had big Regals, and I've always gone, no, I don't want a big one, and the small ones they're too small, like the tank bred ones, because they need to be, they're not like tough enough. A little tank bred in that tank would be amazing. Any angel that's tank bred in that tank, I think, would go, because they're so little. Like, I think that would be a really good idea. Yeah, I really mean that. Like, you could put a little Regal in there and grow it on.
I feel like I talked about that because when I upgrade that tank, I feel like I talked about that, and you were saying the other day it was a bad idea.
Did I?
Play the tapes back on that one, someone.
Yeah,
I'm sure you said that.
It's possible. I can't remember, but I saw them the other day, and there's a few different types. There was a purple moon, like the golden, like a golden angel, The regal angels are pretty regular. Majestic angels are there, and I think yeah, they anyway. So I didn't want a small one, and then I saw this one. I was like, this one's basically the perfect size, and I'm pretty sure it's mostly still its juvenile coloration. You know, where it's like that more goldy colored. And I was just like, I like that. So yeah, so I decided I couldn't resist.
Brilliant. I love that. It's such a cool
So that
fish.
was my profit for the day gone from the wholesaler.
Yeah.
And
you got a Starkey damsel as well.
Yeah, they're just great. They really are. I think the coloration on them is really vivid. Ah, you can get a multi bar as well for that little tank. Just get them all.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Starkey damsels are that's a cool fish though.
Yeah, I know. I like them a lot. I think they have a coloration on them. See that quality marine picture? That is what they look like.
There we go. I love quality marine. They're they're just amazing.
See that blue and that yellow, and you can see it a little bit in the video.
Electric
it's not
blue.
Great. Yeah, it's like proper blue. So
It's funny because to be fair, that is the same color blue more or less as what's the Springer's damsel. It's a bit more electric, but it's not a million miles off.
Oh no, I agree.
They're cool, but they're a little bit boring. But the yellow contrast just it makes it from a bit boring to amazing.
Yeah, but they are not. They're not cheap for a damsel fish. I don't know how much they are. Obviously, I get they're from the wholesale. I don't know, but
I can tell you at rockandcritters.co.uk, £76.
Yeah, I thought they were going to be around about that much.
But you don't actually that's for a small one. Oh no, that's for a medium. 53 small, 76 medium, 84 large. But you don't, the good news is you don't buy a shoal of them because you keep them singularly. You can't keep a shoal, right? I think that's right.
Yeah, I don't know why though. Because there are other damsels that, like, even things like Humbug's damsels you see together in shops sometimes, and they are like well mean. But for some reason, these people go, "Oh, you don't have more than one. You don't have more than one." And it's like, why?
You never see a shoal of Borbonius antheas, do you? Maybe because of the cost.
That's probably the cost.
yeah. Or sunburst antheas.
You see the Borbonius at the wholesaler together, so more than one is kept together. That's not unusual. So I don't think. I think that probably more comes down to the cost. And if they were like each, you'd have a shoal of them.
But sunburst is the same. So sunburst antheas I always see singularly, and they're not cheap. This is a sunburst antheas, by the way. Cool fish. They never quite look. When I've seen these in the flesh, I don't know if it's just because shop lighting is not brilliant, is it? It's not reef tank lighting. But they always look a bit like a drab version of that to me. But
to be fair, I don't actually I don't think I'd even notice them if you see what I mean. If I saw them in a shop. Les is asking how big the rainbow trackie is. If you look at the video I posted, you'll be able to see how big it is. It's like it's a big one. So
it's big. What's big?
It's not like this.
Tennis ball, football.
It's like the size of the palm of your hand, I reckon. So that's it's not like one of these ones where there's like a couple of inches. But if they're all in the video I put out, so you'll be able to see.
Hey, I've just seen, by the way, the guy who bought my Japanese angel is in the chat. He's doing well. Oh man, he's got his colours back. Cool. So you've paired them up. Wicked. Oh, that's really cool. He's happy.
So someone else has the male. Why can't I do that? Dave, can I have your male?
Maybe your female's just an absolute bitch.
I don't know. I was a bit. I don't know. They said
it was funny because the male was the funny one before.
Yeah, no, I know. That's the thing. Yeah. He was. Well,
she remembered though. She was like, "Right, you were horrible to me." So I
do wonder if they remember what sometimes.
Yeah,
I had a you know how you get like Desjardins sail fins, and for some reason sail fin tanks you get really tiny sometimes. I had a little tiny one that was probably about an inch called Colin, and when he first went in, it's called Colin.
That's a brilliant name for a fish, by the way.
He had a tough time with the other tangs, and then eventually they grow to almost a foot, or so he's slightly smaller than a foot, but he grew to being the biggest fish in the tank. And he did not forget that the other fish bullied him. Once he grew to being the biggest, he was the boss, and that was it. So, I wonder if they remember all those years back when they're tiny.
Yeah, long memories. Some people, some fish.
Those little tangs are those little tiny. When you get little fish, like I think it's a big difference when you get like a tiny fish as opposed to like a medium-sized one, because you get to like see it grow, and like it's a shame they don't stay small that long, because other than that, if I could get 7 of the Zebrasoma tangs, little ones, I absolutely would change the water box. Maybe not the black one; they're too expensive. But yeah, because the black ones are even at wholesale costs are like crazy price.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We have a hamster in the chat called Colin, by the way, from
There you go.
So I work with a guy called Colin, and he's brilliant. He's just there's some people I work with who are just so good, and he's one of them. And so that changes my perception of Colin. But generally, Colin is a brilliant name for a hamster or a fish or whatever. I love that.
Most of my before Rachel came along, who gives them like pun names, most of my fish had people. So my very first fish was called Dave. Just Dave.
Dave, solid, yeah.
Yeah.
Gary.
Yeah, Gary is obviously the scarlet hawkfish. But anyway, you told me you had something you want to talk about, and I just kept rambling. So
as per usual. So the first thing, I saw a film yesterday called 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, the most recent one. You seen 28 Days Later? Remember that?
Isn't that the zombie film?
Yeah,
I haven't seen them, no, but
no spoilers, but the new one is brilliant. I saw the last one; it was okay. The new one is brilliant. Anyway, we'll move on to fish stuff.
Yeah.
So I've been watching Serious Reefs. Have you been watching Serious Reefs recently?
Not the most recent ones, no. I watched some. Probably about 3 weeks ago. I was watching them. I go through stages of like intensively watching things and then nothing.
Okay, so they got to the point, I think in the last couple of weeks, where they broke even. So the amount of money that they get in from memberships, because it's all paid by patrons and YouTube membership, the amount they get in is equal to the amount that they spend on their rent, their electricity, all the lights and tanks, because they buy everything. They have no sponsors whatsoever, and they've just got to the point they've reached parity, which is amazing. And so we talked about this at first, and I was saying, look, they're going to need a sponsor. It doesn't necessarily have to be Ecotech, because that would take away the point, but it would need to be Squarespace or NordVPN or the type of sponsors that you see on YouTube all the time that no one really minds, I think, generally. But they've done it without that at all, and it's so much better without that. So that's amazing to get to that level. And their retention rate, people who sign up stay there, and their retention rate is like 80% or something, given it's 13 quid a month or whatever.
No, I know, it's because when you signed up, you're like, how do I cancel this again?
I can't be bothered. But no, I think you'd find a way, because it's enough money that it makes a dent.
I'm pretty sure. And next time you watch a Serious Reefs video, you know how they put in the chat who sponsors them? I'm pretty sure I'm not in there, because I've looked a couple of times and I could not see my name. So and it's fine. I don't care about things like that. I just thought it was funny and then next time you watch it, have a look. But I do sponsor them, so otherwise we'll be able to watch them, would I?
No, this is very true. But they did a video this week that was on the China International Pet Show. You didn't see that. You haven't seen that. That was a real eye opener. So
I would watch that one, actually.
Yeah. Terence from formerly of Neptune went, and he was kind of reporting back. And we all know that that Chinese companies have they like just to copy other
questionable
companies.
Ethics, I think.
Questionable ethics when it comes to intellectual property, basically. And it's like, that's not just Reefing. You see it all over the place. It's pretty bad. And some of them, like the ATI Stratton or Stratton, whatever it is the new light on the market, right? There were like 3 or 4 companies in China that have copied it to a T. Every last detail is identical. And it was rife. It was everything. It wasn't just them, it was everywhere. But it's just like, can you not
How do
just
they get away with it? I'm assuming there's just
I presume
regulations are too difficult to do.
I presume there's either they don't have laws about that for external companies in China, or it's not enforced, or I don't know. They just, because if they don't those, so the fake ATI Stratons you can't buy in the UK. It's like your local fish shop is not going to sell them, and if they were trying to sell them directly through a local fish shop, that's when you would encounter problems, because UK law passing off intellectual property, and US law and European law would prevent that, and it would give you an action. It would be expensive for the manufacturers, but it wouldn't happen. But if you're buying it from AliExpress, it must be easier to dodge the problems, because there's like a million storefronts on Ali or whatever, or Temu. So anyway, but it was surprising how many rip-offs there were. But it's funny because some of them, they had some really good innovation that they were doing themselves. And it's like, do that.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's not like you don't have clever people there. There's billions of people there. There's just as many, probably more clever people than anywhere else. So innovate yourselves. It's like, you can do it. But, that's what's
easier not to, though, isn't it?
Exactly.
Sure, it's just easier not to.
Yeah, that's the thing. The only thing is that there've been times before when I've seen it's sometimes difficult to work out who's copying who, because there are some products in the UK market, Europe and America. For example, the AI, what's the return pumps called? The Axis return pumps. They are made by a company called ZKSJ.
Yeah.
And they're rebadged, rebranded with AI. AI changed a few things about them, the different power supply, different controller, and they put them on Mobius and all that sort of stuff. So they do, it's not just a rebadged one and you get it the same. But that's who and I'm assuming they've got a license agreement where ZKSJ get a percentage or whatever. So it's done legitimately. But there are times when I can't work out who is copying who. So there's a light that looks very much like the Red Sea light called a pop bloom.
Yeah.
And when I've looked at it before, I've been like, did Red Sea
copy them, or did they
license theirs like they do with MaxSpec? All the gyres, they're all MaxSpec, all made by MaxSpec. So I was like, is that what they've done in the same way that AI do with the return pumps, or have they been ripped off? And it's like, because there's so much of it, you can't tell. And that does happen. Like, all return pumps are made in China, basically. I think from what I understand, there are a couple of companies that make return pumps. Nobody else does. So, if you buy an AI Axis, don't be surprised that it's made by a Chinese company. It's a white label version. It doesn't mean it's bad. Actually, it probably means it's good.
So there can be a Prestige Reef white label version.
Exactly. Yeah. But it was funny. The amount of it was just rampant. There was all the what's the Kraken? What's the controllers? There's a new American company, or newish.
Just remember who you're talking to. When you're saying, the Kraken, I'm like, yeah, what?
Oh.
I don't mind if people make something which is very similar to something else.
Yeah.
But if it's like 20 or 30% better. For example, I wouldn't care if someone did exactly the same lights as something, but then like literally exactly the same, but the software behind them was better. Like it's still like a 30% improvement as far as I'm concerned, because you are making something better.
But even that, you're making a living off someone else's back. So we had this conversation with Reefing Radio, and it was a bit like, well, look, if it's cheaper, I don't care. Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but at the end of the day, it's not fair. You're ripping someone else's design off.
Like innovation has to stop at some point. Eventually, they start putting like touchless things on heaters, like Bluetooth on heaters.
Oh God, I hate that.
But you see what I mean? Like eventually. So I think that's.
Why do you have to copy the design exactly? Because you're trying to ride off someone else's success and the money that other companies spent in design, marketing, all that sort of stuff.
Look, I know. I know what you're saying.
But for me, if I'm up for that. If you make something that is, if you're making an LED light, that wasn't like Ecotech didn't invent LEDs, right?
Yeah.
So if you're making an LED and it uses similar technology or even the same LEDs as them, but it looks different spread or different whatever, different software, fine.
Yeah.
But when you're making it so it looks identical, that's when it's like
if it's identical, but the box is shaped differently.
Well, it's not identical.
Well, no,
but this is the thing.
But the box doesn't like if it's in an Ecotech box or an AI box or whatever, but instead of it having curved edges, it has straight edges. It's a different design, but the actual thing is no different inside. So where is the limit?
There's a sliding scale, and I don't know. I don't think there's a fixed answer. It has to be 10%, 20%, 50%, whatever.
Yeah.
But it has to be. It's like it's the elephant test. You know it when you see it. If it looks too similar, it's But anyway,
No,
But it
I
was
know
just,
what you mean. Like Kessel was totally different to anything else. If well,
yeah,
well, then maybe there are some copies of Kessel. I don't know.
there are copies
Yeah,
of
there
Kessel.
you
Yeah,
go.
yeah. Hydros, thank you,
Yeah,
JJS. Yeah, Hydros. The complete rip-offs of Hydros. And that's a unique design as well. No one, there are times when two people think of the same idea at the same time, the other side of the world, and no one knows.
yeah,
That is that is not a coincidence, you know. So,
yeah.
but it's funny. But I will say, so the serious reefs have broken even, all that sort of stuff, and I've bang on about this all the time. If you've never tried it, sign up. If you go through Patreon, it's like $4. That gets you a month, and if you don't like it, you can quit. But it's honestly,
Yeah.
it's so good. It's well worth it. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
Best stuff on YouTube for me.
As I said, I do enjoy the videos.
Reef.
It's just some of them aren't for me. So if a fish one goes up, I will watch it they've not done fish ones, I don't think, for a while. I've not seen.
No, Elliot's not been around. Yeah.
Yeah. But then they did like the top 10 additives, and I thought, oh, Reef Dog will be loving this. And whereas I was just like, nah, not for me. So I didn't watch it. And then as soon as the YouTube algorithm starts to show you something else, I just forget about it.
Yeah. See, it's all for me. It's that I love all of it because I like that top 10 additives thing. I use what I use. I'm not going to change. I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
But I still watched it and I found it interesting because that's how much of a dork I am. Basically, it's not just a clever name.
I think the official term he was going to use was loser, but no, that's okay.
Basically, go
for dog.
MP10 versus DMP pumps is a really good one. I think they're marginally better, but and they're a lot cheaper, so it's tempting, but it's not cool. But I'd still probably buy them. I'm not saying I'm not a hypocrite. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, so that was that. That was interesting. So there we go. But we should move on to the headline topic. 46,
you said the reason you picked this topic was because you had some questions you wanted to ask me, but you haven't given me the questions up front. I don't know what you're going to ask.
I don't know about that. So basically, this is about is resetting your tank. So I said at the start, there are two situations really when people want to reset their tank. One, if you've got some kind of problem and you just can't work it out and you want to reset it and start again. And the second one is when you've got no problems with your water chemistry or whatever, but you're just not happy with the way your tank has turned out. Your aquascape is awful, or you've made bad fish choices, or your corals are all the same color, or you've set out with soft corals and now you're more advanced, so you want to try SPS or whatever. Those are the two scenarios, and you've kind of done well. I think really yours is the problems one that you've done.
I think so. One of them, the problems one was the coral farm one. That was a problem. The water box is not a problem. It's more of a it's a motivation thing, is the honest answer. Like if you it's amazing. If you hate your tank at the moment, and there'll be people listening that hate their tank, and the chances are if you hate your tank, it's probably covered in algae. So at some point, spend an hour or 2 hours or whatever cleaning every single speck of algae off that glass, and I promise you, it'll make you feel better. And then it'll give you, once you put, the more effort you put into something, the more you care about it.
Completely.
So generally what happens is people stop caring as much about their tanks, and that's when they lose interest.
So I did a while ago, when I had the Cade running, I did a video that was I can't remember what I called it, like updating a neglected reef tank or something like that. And it was fine, but it had just drifted to the point that it was no longer what it used to be, as nice as it used to be. There were vermitids everywhere. There was algae in tufts in patches, just loads of stuff that wasn't right. And I did that. It wasn't a massive deal. I probably spent an hour to 2 hours cleaning everything. Normally you just clean algae off with an algae scraper, right? But this time I got in with a manual algae scraper with my hand, with a blade, exactly. And I cleaned everything. So the tank was pristine. All of the algae I pulled off. I broke off all of the vermitids. There were bits of that you drop frag plugs in your tank, don't you? Or corals die, and you're just like, I'll get that later. 5 years later, it's still bloody there. Pull all of those out. There are snail shells lying around that you're like, that's fine. Just pull everything out, do a big water change, and suddenly on the Cade, that was 2 hours or so, something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. and it looks so good afterwards. It was so worthwhile. And I actually think that is worth doing from time to time anyway.
Yeah. It's instant gratification for your work, because you see something that you're not happy with, and then even if it's just like even if you just leave like a centimeter of algae at the bottom or something like that, once you do it, you instantly go, wow, like it looks good again. And then you go, I'm going to do this, I'm going to keep it like this all the time, and then you don't. But it's anything that gives you instant gratification can like totally change your mentality towards something, because you put effort in, so you care more, and it made you feel good, so you want to keep chasing that feeling. So, and that's kind of what's happening with the water box at the moment. So it's
but that's the thing. I think there's a thing in social science. I remember this from sociology when I was younger, called broken windows theory. Right, and it's pretty obvious what it is. If you go to a town and there's just broken windows everywhere, you don't care, everything's neglected, you break more windows. Whereas if everything looks mint, you want to keep it mint. It's the same thing basically. And when you that does fade, but when your tank looks amazing, you'll have at least a few weeks when you're cleaning it, you're like, I'll keep on top of it and all that sort of stuff. And it looks, you'll do the watch changes.
I've cleaned the glass more times than like in the last probably 3 weeks than I have done in probably the last year.
But that makes such a massive difference.
And the thing I really hate this, and I got two choices. I should just get another algae magnet for each side of the glass, just because I hate turning, I have to put my hand in to move. We spoke about this before. I should just get an algae magnet for each panel and then just clean them like that. I know it's not. I know
every now and then there are some things that I say out loud and I'm embarrassed to say. Like I don't feed nori because I don't want to get my hand wet. It's like, man up, all right. That is pathetic.
It's the same thing.
That is another level. I don't want to move my algae magnet from one pane of glass to the other. Come on.
If it's instant, because like this is what happens. I'll be making I'll come downstairs in the morning and I'll make toast, and then while the toast is down, like I have to find something to do. And I do this every day. Sometimes I'll empty the dishwasher or whatever. But like at the moment, I'm cleaning the front glass panel, and I go, I'm about to eat toast. I don't want to put my hands in the tank to move it over. So that's why I feel if I've got one on each panel, but it would look ugly if you had that many algae scrapers in there. So it's never going to happen. But
just on that subject, actually, I can usually empty the dishwasher in the time it takes the kettle to boil. Sometimes. I do like 2/3 and I have to leave it.
It's funny.
I'll make another tea later.
It's funny because it's the sort of thing where Rachel will be like, is this clean or empty or dirty, because you've half done it?
And so Laura does that sometimes. So she'll start putting dirty mugs. I'm like, whoa, hang on, I'm saving that for when I'm making another cup of tea.
Whoa, I started this yesterday. I'm just not around to finishing it.
Anyway, reefing. So
I think people are getting a lot of insight into our lives.
I bet this is not just a you and me thing though. There'll be loads of people going, I do that. Anyway. So let's talk about because the main type of reefing reset is when you've got a problem. Okay. So you and I both did this, and we had slightly different reasons. Yours was you got to the point where you tried everything. You've done all the testing. You tested with ICPs, different test kits, the works. You just couldn't figure out what it was. And you were like, do you know what? I think you wanted to do a reset anyway, but do you know what? Let's do a reset because I don't know what it is. So I'm going to do this reset.
Yeah. And if it hadn't have worked this time, which I think it has worked, I would have reset. I only reset one tank. I would have reset all three on that system just to make 100% sure. And if that doesn't work, I'm shutting the whole tank. I'm shutting it down.
Exactly.
So, and I'm becoming a very bad accountant or something.
Well, so the reset I did was slightly different in that my water parameters were a little bit up and down, a little bit all over the place. But it was annoying because every time I tested, I was getting different results from different test kits. And so I tried throwing away a test kit, getting a new one, comparing it with the ICP, and I couldn't work out what to trust and what not to trust. And to be honest, what you should probably do in that situation is just pick one and choose it. But I was like, you know what? Something's wrong here. So let's just do a massive water change. I'll reset everything, and then I know it's okay, basically. So those were the two times we did that. But there were things that you need to, I've kind of drawn up a list of do's and don'ts and things that you need to think about when you're doing that kind of reset, when things aren't going right. Because in my tank was looking, it wasn't looking great. I had a couple of corals that were sulking or dying. I wasn't confident that if I bought a fussy coral like a torch, it would survive. Whereas now I bought an expensive torch recently, and well, you never know, but I'm confident it'll be okay. But at the time, it was putting me off buying new livestock, and it was stressing you out because you don't think about it. So that's the main kind of reset. And the things that I've kind of I thought about beforehand, and I did beforehand and during it, were first off to make sure you've tried. A reset isn't necessarily a last resort, because if you're just doing it by reset, if all you mean is a big water change, there's not really any reason not to do it.
Yeah.
So if you do enough ICP tests, a lot of the time they will tell you the answer here is do a 50% water change or 30% water changes. So it's not really any reason not to do it. But really, you want to know what's going wrong. So before you go in and do your big reset, even if that works, your big water change, make sure you've got the basics right. And we've talked about this before, right? So the basics are things like, are you testing regularly? You said today in the video, actually, which was a really good point, you can't guess your parameters.
Yeah. See, I hadn't planned to say that in the video. I was just sort of guessing what the parameters were, because it would be a month. And I realized I was just thought I'm going to guess. And then at the end of it, I was like, wait a minute. Like, this is a really good point. You have no idea what your parameters are. The phosphate on that was crazy, but I think that's because I siphoned sand. It never ever tested anywhere near that before. It was almost like non-detectable, and then it's gone up to like 0.3, and I'm like, what has happened?
Yeah.
So sorry.
But you want to be doing all those tests just to make sure you know what you're dealing with, basically. Even because if you're doing a big reset, big water change, fine, it'll sort everything anyway. But you want to know what you were up against. So in your case, you had high calcium. Actually, your alkalinity and magnesium was spot on pretty much.
Yeah, they were.
And you had high phosphate. Everything else, I don't remember nitrate.
My nitrate was 2.5, so it's basically
fine. A bit low, but fine.
And the calcium, I wouldn't be worried about.
Yes,
480.
480, yeah, fine. So that was all right, but then you know where you're at, because otherwise you might have. There's so many times when I think my salinity's fine, because it just is, and then you test it, and you're like, oh shit, it's like 34, 39 parts per thousand. Whoops, that's gone a little bit too high. So find out what you're dealing with, do the basics, do your testing. And the other thing is something that we mentioned earlier is, are you doing all the other things right? So you're not doing anything weird. You've not used rock that was from a freshwater tank, and I thought that would be okay. Or you're not using a funny light that you bought off Temu for 20 quid. Because someone on Facebook said that it's all right. Exactly. You're doing all those things right, and you've got flow right, and you're making sure that your underlying issues are sorted, as in you're doing most things right. It doesn't matter if it gets perfect or not, and we'll talk about that next week. It doesn't matter if it's perfect or not, just as long as you're more or less okay. And really, if you don't know, when getting the basics right, what does that really mean? If you don't know what that means, the best thing to do is find someone's tank that you really like. Doesn't necessarily mean it's if you really like Ryan's advice on YouTube, doesn't mean that you'll necessarily like his tank. But if you find someone whose tank you really do like, see what they do. What lights have they got? Have they got like 10 lights and you've only got one? Have they got a ton more power heads than you? Brand doesn't matter. But are you doing flow, lighting, rocks, cleanup crew, fish, filtration, everything roughly the same? If you're doing anything weird that you thought this is a brilliant idea and no one else does it, maybe just reset it and go back to doing what normal people do.
Chlorinating tap water, they cut you that guy, and there's always that guy, isn't there? I don't know if they hang around and if these people are around anymore, but there were people. I remember when I was started, they're like, no, I've been using tap water for years, it's fine. I'm like, yeah, it might be fine, but you're not keeping acros, are you?
See, this is the thing. Every now and then I'll get that comment. It's pretty rare these days, but every now and then someone will say, like, I'll make a video about setting up a reef tank, and I'll say, use RODI water, make sure it's 0 TDS. Ideally, buy your own RODI filter. It'll save you money in the long run. And every now and then someone will pop up and say, I use tap water. I've been doing it for 20 years. It's fine.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not impossible that is okay, and they've got a really nice tank. But more likely, You look at their tank and you would think that is rubbish. That is not something that I aspire to. So it's not fine. The animals might be alive, but it's not the same. So if you're doing anything like that, like you're using tap water, you're doing something that you thought that no one else does, or that 1% of people do, go back to doing the simple stuff. Don't try to be clever.
It was far more common when I first started 19 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, as in, that's how I started. I started with tap water. Like, I had no money, so I wasn't going to buy an RO unit. And then I soon realized that it gave you mega hair algae, and I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I have to do this properly.
Yeah, exactly. I've just realized we haven't done member questions, which I will come back to.
That's fine,
because there's one member question that I might do a whole episode on. But exactly, so make sure you're not doing anything funky, anything weird, and once you've done that, then you can basically crack on. Yeah, I've talked about that sort of stuff. Yeah, you can't guess your. I love it. You can't guess your parameters because you feel like you can do sometimes, don't you? You're like, oh, I can do that.
I love how you have like a script or bullet point notes. I basically never have bullet. A bit of paper that's just scribbled and says like 3 words on it.
To be honest, what I found is the last few live streams has been a bit too winging it, and I think they're better when there's a bit of structure and I actually put a bit of thought into it. So I'm doing you guys, your viewers, a disservice if I'm just going, I just turn the camera on and talk. So I want to try to make a bit more effort. So
did you just hear that? He just said, I do you all a disservice.
I do. I feel like that because like if it's just anyway, whatever, never mind. So you're making sure you've got all the basics right, and then you can start. The one thing that I had an issue when I did mine, I think I was having, well, I know I was having issues with my RODI filter. I was trying to fix it. I couldn't work out what it was. So what I've done now is I just changed the DI resin way more often than I ever have done. And I no longer have that issue. So I don't know if there's a problem with one of the filters or something, if something's broken and the water's going in a different direction, but it doesn't matter because I change my filters more frequently than I ever have done. I burn through more DI resin because I change it more frequently. So that is no longer a problem. And I think I know I had silicates because I did an ICP test. ICP test is brilliant to do. Test all you like. You might do an ICP test and it tells you you've got tin, zinc, and iron, in which case you've probably got a rusty power head somewhere. But that I had silicates in my RODI water, and I heard something on Reefing Radio. There was one of them had load of sponge growth because they had silicates, and I was like, I've got a ton of sponge growth in my tank at the moment, and I've got silicates. Doesn't mean it's that, but I was like, that makes a lot of sense. So when I did this reset, I bought all new RO membranes. They're expensive, and I hadn't changed them that long ago. I bought all new pre-filters, carbon blocks, DI resin, the works. Because if I'm doing a 50% plus water change, there's no way I'm risking putting in duff water, because then it's just, what the hell is the point of it? So this water was pristine. Now, you might not want to spend 100, 200 quid on new filters for your RODI filter. You might not have your own RODI filter, but make sure you get it right. So if just day to day, week to week, you go to your local fish shop and you say 25 litres of salt water, please, that's fine. But if you're doing a big reset, just say, do you know what? Could you just show me your TDS on your RODI? I'm sorry I know I'm gonna have to go around the back. Would you mind just showing me? And then if it says, because if they just say, oh, it's always 0. Oh, actually, no, look, it's 10. I don't want that.
Just so you know, if they say it's always 0, it's probably a lie. Exactly. It's like for a shop that goes through so much, they would be changing. Like, I have to change my DI resin probably bi-weekly. Every 2 weeks, I reckon I have to change it because I go through so much water. Now, I am not selling water. Imagine how much they have to go through if they're selling it. Now, I suppose they probably had bigger canisters.
I'm sure,
but like,
it's not practical.
I would be surprised if it was. Let's put it this way: if it was 0, a lot more people would be buying it from shops.
So some of them do. The really good ones do. Reef Dreams that was near me, they used to say it was 0, and I believe them.
Yeah.
But actually on the DI resin front, you know, when you go to a club, which obviously you haven't done for like 20 years, right?
Right. That is true.
Yeah, the bouncers have a little clicker. They count the number of people going in, right? Probably for fire regulations or whatever. I bought one of those, and the plan is, because I want to change my DI resin every 2 weeks, and I can never remember. So what I'm going to do is every time I do a water change, which means I filter 100 litres of water, I'll click it, and then I will remember when it's been 2 weeks.
Or So just hear me out.
Go on.
Write it down.
Yeah,
Why
I
did you
did
need to
think
buy a
about
clicker?
it was £3. So,
Yeah.
and if you use paper, there's always
My brain is
leaking
going,
in.
you could get one of those for £3. And I was like, wait a minute, what
I
would I
know.
ever use one for?
Hey, you could start working on the doors at your local club. We're digressing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so if you're ideally buy your own RIDI filter, great time, because then it saves you money, saves you a fortune actually long term.
Yeah.
And actually, it doesn't take that long to pay for itself. A few months maybe.
Yeah.
Really, you'll be surprised. So ideally buy one yourself, but if not, make the extra effort to make sure you're getting 0 TDS. If you're just going to a local chain, not naming any names, there's a good chance that they're not they're not 0 TDS. If you're going to a reefing specialist, much more chance that it will be 0 TDS.
Yeah,
so
that
maybe go to maybe if you normally go to your local fish shop that mostly sells goldfish and they've got a couple of clownfish, and normally you get water from them, go another 40 miles, go to AAC, because you know they do good water. So go a little bit further and get the good stuff, make a bit of an effort, because otherwise you're pissing in the wind. Basically, it's really important if you're going to do a big water change, nail your water, get really good quality water. Ideally do what I did and change all your filters and filter it yourself. And then you know it's 0 TDS, because the only person you can really trust to do anything is you. If no one cares about your tank like you do, no one. So and also, whilst you're doing that, I mean, if you're going to do a big water change, fix all of the problems. So if you've just got like an imbalance of water chemistry and your alkalinity is really high and your calcium's really low or whatever, you want to fix that. But if you've also got all these other things that we talked about earlier, so you've got frag plugs on the sand, or you've got a coral that you've put in the wrong place and it's stinging its neighbor, and I'll get to it at some point. You've got algae growing in patches that you don't like. You've got an aptasia that you keep meaning to putty over. Do all of that, all of it, because this is the time when you're actually motivated to get in and get on with it, because you'll leave it otherwise. The only thing, if you're putting a lot of putty in, absolutely, putty pulls water out of the oxygen out of the water, so you must have power heads on to keep oxygenating the water if you're using a lot of putty. If it's a little bit, don't worry too much. But
do you use putty?
Very rarely.
I would never use it. I just hate it. I know some people
Really?
use it, but
What,
it's
for
just
mountain corals or
yeah, as in for mountain corals in the tank. I would rather. It's a little bit more difficult to do, but you could literally make a bubble of super glue by putting it in and then push that into a crevice and then push the coral into it. It's more hassle, but putty looks awful, I think, in tanks, and it
doesn't
takes
hold
months.
stuff either. It's
rubbish.
You're relying on it to mechanically push something in place rather than a chemical bond like super glue.
Yeah.
But I don't do either of them. I drill holes in my rockscape. Either buy them with holes drilled in previously, or in like the TMC tank, I drilled holes myself before I put them in, and then you just put the frag plug in the hole and it's easy.
There you go.
But either way,
I would frag plug.
Yeah, okay.
Which is ironic because I've got 10,000 of them.
Yeah. But what for putty, I'm thinking if you're putting over stuff, because sometimes I'll putty over an aptasia or a GSP or whatever that's going out of control. So anyway, so do all of that stuff now, because you're motivated. I'm gonna spend a whole day on it. You're motivated. Do as much as you possibly can do, because then it'll be looking mint. You're more likely to look after it to keep this going if it's looking really good. And this is the best time to do it, because otherwise you'll be like, I'll do it tomorrow, and then tomorrow becomes a year down the line and it's still bloody there, and you're like, oh god. And it's stupid because it's like like a dead coral, and it would take 3 seconds to get in there, and I've got my hand in there anyway because I'm putting in nori, but I still don't do it. What's up with that? I've got problems, Ryan. What?
Well, you probably can't reach the bottom very easily without standing on a stool.
I might get my armpit wet and I have to change t-shirt. It's that sort of thing.
I definitely am not tall enough to be able to lean to so I will put it in front of the tank. And I said to Rachel the other day, I'm going to put this here because once that's like the first step. Once it's there, I'll do it. Like 4 days later, she went, "Stool's just been sitting in the kitchen. Like, what are you doing with it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've not done what I need to do." But
I know.
I actually don't like lids on tanks as well. I feel like the lid on the tank is it's just another step. We're so like precious, aren't we? But I think
Yeah.
this is probably a thing for loads of people, where like if you don't want to get your arm wet, or you don't want to get the stool out, you don't have to take the lid off or whatever. And it
Taking
stops
the
you.
lid off is a big thing. I can't be bothered because if I take the lid off, obviously it's got water on it, so it'll drip on the
Yeah.
floor, and
Yeah.
then I've got to dry the floor up, and that
Yeah.
will take 3 seconds. And I
Or the
can't be asked
salt creep that breaks off it
Yeah,
when you lift
yeah,
it off.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I know. Trust me.
It's so stupid, but this is
Yeah.
not just you and me. I guarantee
No.
it. Anyway,
And what I need to remind you, me, and anyone else who's listening who feels the same way, there are bigger issues in life than this.
there are. Yeah,
But
exactly.
maybe just not to us.
Yeah, indeed. So you do all of that stuff. You're removing all your algae. You're doing all of that stuff. And one thing, what actually that I should have said before, winding back a little bit, is start at the start of the day, and I'm talking
Yes.
8 a.m. The
Mhm.
amount of times I know that you shouldn't start late, but every now and then I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's 8 o'clock at night. I'll start now.
Yeah.
Worst idea ever, because something will go wrong. And I've had it before where I first off I stripped the tank down, and I was trying. All I needed to do was undo the bulkhead, so the inlet that draws water down to the sump. Easy, right? You just need to twist it. It's fine.
Yeah.
It would not come off. Would not come off. I had to go to a neighbour, knock on my neighbour's door at 10 o'clock at night, and borrow this enormous spanner so I could get a bit of leverage on it.
Yeah.
So and it like if you spring a leak, and I've sprung a leak before, I decided to upgrade my on my last Red Sea tank. I upgraded to a gate valve. I decided to start that at like 6 o'clock at night. Sprung a leak, and guess what? The shops are shut, so I can't go and buy silicon. So I had to text a couple of people saying, "You haven't got any LM8." Do you remember me?
Yeah.
And then go and borrow, like turn up at 10 o'clock. Just don't do it late at night. Don't do it at the end of the day ever. I know it's because, and you convince. I've made the same mistake more than once. Start at the start of the day, because if things go wrong, which they will, you want 5 hours to be able to fix it, and the daylight and all this sort of stuff. So that's a big thing. But also plan what you're going to do. So if the reason that you've got into this predicament in the first place is because you've been lazy with water changes or testing, then make sure you're not just going to fall back into the same habits. So if you're lazy with with testing, for example, because you just can't be bothered, and I'm as bad as that for anybody, then set yourself a time and say, do you know what? Every Sunday, 7 o'clock, I'm going to listen to these two dickheads on YouTube. That I don't. First half hour, they just talk nonsense. So I'm just going to test my water parameters.
Wait a minute. The first half hour is me talking.
Exactly. Perfect time. Just white noise. Just zone out Ryan like he does when I talk about lights, or find some way that you can test it every time. Get into a routine, so you don't slip back into it. Water changes. If you don't do water changes because you can't be bothered, I understand that. I'm with you, but see if you can look into making them easier. Auto water changes, or Ryan, you did that recently. You didn't do water change for a long time, and you set up a gravity system, so it makes it easy.
Yeah, so I can
easier said than done. Most people won't be able to do that, but
look, I understand that I am the exception, and if most people tell their partners, "Oh, I'm just going to drill a 3-inch hole in the wall to put up pipes,"
through bricks and the insulation. But so that's an extreme one. But you buy an what's it called, a reflow auto water changer. They're really good. Or buy the dosing pump system that can do an auto water change. Do something that, try to find a way. You might need to do a bit of research to make things easier, because if that's what was causing you the problem in the first place, you want to be fixing that. So when you've done this reset, you can then go back and hopefully avoid it happening again, or mean that it won't happen for 6 months rather than 6 weeks. And that's, but like in terms of the stuff has gone wrong, that's basically everything I've got. Was there anything else that you can add to that, or other tips, words of wisdom?
I think that when you say stuff that's gone wrong, I think one of the things that so one of the things I did was I siphoned my sand this time, which I don't normally do. And I think that people should be very careful when doing that, depending on how thick, how deep the sand is. I don't know how true it is with regards to the, like, if it's over 6 inches, then you can have a real problem. But you show me a tank that's got sand that's over 6 inches is what I will say. because that then it gets into a like.
Do you mean in terms of you're worried about stirring up a load of ammonia or
Yeah.
whatever? Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm 99% sure. Like I think you could probably tell in the video, I was genuinely shocked by the phosphate. Like
Yeah,
I was because when I tested it before I went to Australia, so this is 2 months ago, and they've been feeding the same. It's always been like relatively low, like, and there's no phosphate remover in there or anything. So it just something has done that in the last week, and it has to have been that, as far as I'm concerned. Now, there have been times when I have when I've taken sand out, and there's like this real like egg smell. You know when you clean a tank sometimes, and it's like that sulfur smell.
Yeah.
That can't be good for your tank.
No.
So what I did once, I had a sand bed which was probably like 2 or 3 inches, and I wanted to get rid of it. I had a problem. I didn't know what the problem was, so I got a little piece of plastic, and I would siphon out a section at a time, and then put the plastic in there to keep the sand from like falling. I know it wouldn't have done a massive difference, but it would have stopped all of it from like just like being a rock slide, just to try to prevent what's being released. But I think siphoning the sand again, I think, is what I might actually do to just get it, like, do a proper job. I did it once, and obviously there's still loads of like crap floating around.
I was surprised to learn that you don't vacuum your sand.
So I used to do it every week, and then, but if you either have to do it every week or never at all. And if you set your sand bed up correctly, then in theory you shouldn't ever have to. Now my sand bed is literally like 1 inch or less.
What's correctly? Is that it?
Yeah, so it has to be 1 inch or less across the whole tank. And yeah, I think that's just basically it. Oh no, it's the size of the sand grains make a difference. Yeah. So you want them to be between 1 and 2. So they're not like the thick chunky ones either that you like. So because I know you like the thick pieces, don't you?
I don't. So in the TMC tank, I'm using what's it called? Really
the
fine
sand.
sand.
The Carib Sea life sand.
Carib Sea. Right, and it looks cool, but I don't like it. But
that's my favorite sand.
Well, because it looks cool, which it does.
Yeah.
But it just blows everywhere, and you've got massive bare patches where the flow blows it. But
it's more the fish that are the problem.
The fish are moving.
Yeah. Now, like, so the it's not being blown around now, but the fish going through the caves, like, they just within 24 hours is the problem.
But your theory of if you set your sand bed up right, you don't need to vacuum it. I feel like you're persuading yourself that. I think you would always benefit from vacuuming your sand.
That's probably true. It's just that's what has always been the accepted knowledge. You either do it once, but I think what they're trying to say is, like, you don't want to disturb it. Like, if you do it once every 3 months, you're probably causing more trouble potentially.
Yeah, but if you okay. I think if you're going to do that, if you're going to be worried about it, do it in over the course of 4 weeks. Do 1/4 of your tank 1 week, and then 1/4 next week, and all that sort of stuff.
But that, if that is what has caused the phosphate to shoot up, then and the fact I haven't done it for months, I couldn't even tell you the last. It probably was a year ago potentially. Maybe there is some like thing that backs that up. So like where they go, look, either you do it every week or never at all, and that could be the reason why. Maybe you stir a load of crap up, and then that becomes a problem.
Indeed, I just opened my window.
It's too cold now.
No, I can feel spots of rain. Hang on 1 sec.
That's all right.
This is a problem with having a skylight. It's really annoying.
That's another one of his first world problems.
First world problem is there are no windows in this room at all, apart from one little one up there. So if you're thinking, oh, skylight, that sounds glamorous, bloody isn't. I'm like in a dungeon here.
Yeah, I know. It's like that room's like a cupboard, isn't it? With all, because you've got so much stuff in it as well. I don't know if you've still got the 3D printers and stuff in there. The room is a lot smaller than it appears.
It's tiny. It's 7 foot front to back. So it looks bigger. I did a video of like a behind the scenes thing, and you're like, oh my god, it's tiny. And I've got a lot of stuff in it.
I think things do look bigger on on the video. Firstly, one of the things that definitely looks bigger. People come to see the coral farm. They go, "Oh, it looks smaller in here than I thought it was going to be." And the second thing that definitely looks bigger on the video is I seem to look way fatter on the videos. I said this to you the other day. I'm not putting myself on videos anymore because it makes me look too fat. I'm like, where?
It's set, so this set is angles. So this angle for me is fine.
Yeah.
And you don't, when you see this angle, you don't think I'm a massive fatty. When you see me vlogging and I like got the camera to my side or whatever, you're like, oh, he's a bit chunky, isn't he? He's had a good Christmas.
Yeah, it's put me on a diet since watching those since the last 2 videos.
No, just always face straight on, and then you don't need to go on a diet. You can just always be facing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to come on to the second type of reefing reset in a minute, which is when you're unhappy with the aesthetics, which I've done before as well.
Okay, yeah.
I think that feels like something you have done less.
Yeah, I'm the sort of person that I'll put a correlate and then leave it, and it will grow. I'm pretty selective about what corals I put in, although like hystrix and stuff like that probably have caused me problems in the past where they've just grown out of control. But yeah, I would say I don't think I've ever gone, I don't like what I've done, I'm starting again. Ever.
It's usually fast growing corals, because fast growing corals sound great at the time, and then every single time you're like, oh god, it's taken over.
The last time I think I did that was when I had soft corals. So I got rid of all the soft corals, and I went, look, this is the time to get rid of all the mushrooms, every last one, because otherwise you'll have one left and then you'll have 50 in a week's time. So yeah, I've only done it once, I think, ever.
Yeah, that was the first time I did that with soft corals. But anyway, we're gonna take we'll pause this program because we're gonna do member questions, because I meant to do them beforehand and I forgot.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's what I do. One of your staff members has asked a question, Licia Reese.
Stop saying that. Like, I am incredibly grateful for the people that help me out. So stop saying staff, because you think it's like people might think I've said that to you.
But no, I'm not currently within punching distance, so I don't have to worry about this until Aqua, when her and her boyfriend will give me a slap. Anyway, Licia says, what's the closest you both have come to quitting the hobby completely, and what made you stay? Have you ever had anything that's been like, I'm done?
Absolutely. The one, it's always a tank crash, isn't it? I don't think like I've gone, oh, I'm bored, I'm quitting the hobby. And I don't think nothing like algae or aptasia or diatoms or diaflagellates has ever gone, I'm not doing this anymore. There was a time when so my tank was at my parents' house and I was staying with my girlfriend, and I got a call at 7 a.m. And it was Mum, and she went, oh, Ryan, all your fish are dead. And I was like, no, what she actually said was, Ryan, you need to come home now because all of your fish are dead. And I went, what do you mean? She went, look, just come home. They're all dead or dying. And I was like, I was there 8 hours ago. Like, that was a shock to me. And that was the one where there was a power cut. And one of the best things to do is, if that happens, or if you're in a situation where you're going to quit, do the very basics of what you need to do. Like, just do a war change, but don't buy anything, don't do anything at all, and reassess the situation, because the chances are in a month's time you'll have forgotten the bad thing, and quite often we are either going to leave or we come back 10 times better than we did before. And that was, I think, when I got rid of all the soft corals and went, I'm doing this properly. I'm going to have LPS and SPS now. So yeah, that was the one time for me.
So I don't think I've ever come properly close. There are a couple of times every now and then I do think, do you know what? I don't know if this is worth it. And the 2 times that I've thought that in particular that I can remember were, I had dino flagellates in my Red Sea Peninsula 500.
Yeah.
And I'd gone through, turns out actually, I now know dinos better than I did before, and I would do it differently this time. But I'd gone through what I thought was everything, and they just weren't going. And it'd been like 4 months, and it was slowly spreading and spreading. And and every now and then I'd come down and I'd find a new coral that was dead. And even if there wasn't a coral that was dead, the whole tank just looked awful, like terrible. And you're just like, what's the point of this? I don't know how to fix it. And that over time, it gets to the point where you think, what's the point of doing this if it's just going to be every time I look at the tank, it looks terrible. It's depressing. I don't know what to do about it. Should I bother carrying on? That was probably the closest, probably to be to actually quitting. But you always, I think, realistically, when you've been in it for a few years, it's going to take a big blow to actually push you out.
It would have to be like, oh yeah, even if you like the whole system went, I think it would be surprised. Like I couldn't, obviously I do the job now, but if your whole tank went, I don't think you'd close it down and go, I'm not doing this anymore.
6 months and then you'd come back or whatever. Yeah.
The thing that I will say is, so I have a mailing list where I send emails out to people, and at the bottom of it, it says like, if you don't want these emails anymore, just email me back and I'll remove you from the mailing list. And every single week when I send that out, I usually get 4 or 5 people come back to me. There's about 2,500 people on the mailing list. 4 or 5 people every single week say, I've just sold my tank. So all the time people are going, I've had enough, I'm getting out of this now, whether it's because they don't love it anymore or because of the money. So, which is an entirely different topic.
Well, the other time that I didn't really come close, but the other time that springs to mind was when I had my white spot outbreak. I don't know, a year ago, whatever it was. Yeah, just under a year ago now. And that I'd made a stupid mistake, basically. It was my fault, which is the most frustrating, because you're just like, why did I do that? Why am I so stupid? I've been doing this long enough to know better. Why did I let that happen? But sometimes just how you do stupid things. Yeah. Anyway, so
that feeling is how I feel about the angelfish. It's exactly that feeling, and it gets you down. And the problem is when it's your job, you have to just dust yourself off and keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I haven't got a choice. So.
I just bought a gem tank for, I don't know, 400 or 500 quid, whatever they cost. I can't remember. It was a small one, so they're not the really expensive ones, but that was the most I'd ever spent on a fish.
Yeah.
And that died pretty much straight away. I tried to save it, but I couldn't. And then the fish start dying one by one, and like it's this fish that you've had for a long time as well. In particular, that hurts more than the money. And then it got to the point where I had all these fish in the quarantine tank. I was treating them with medication. I've not really done that for a long time. So I felt like a noob all of a sudden. I was like, how do you do this? And I felt like I was following all the steps that you should do, but still I was having fish dying. I was like, what the hell is going on? And I think that's probably just the way it is when you've got a bad white spot outbreak, and you've just got to be prepared that when you think it's over, doesn't necessarily mean it is over. And it got to the point, actually, there was a tipping point where everything was fine. But when stuff keeps going wrong and you're just like, have I got copper too high? And then I don't want to run it too low. And so that was frustrating. And then also, because there's no fish in the tank was going to shit as well. There was ulva everywhere. There's no ulva in my tank at all now. Yeah. But for months, it was just covered in the stuff because there's no algae eaters in there. And it just looked awful. So I lost one of my torches. I bought a torch off a fellow hobbyist. He'd had it for years, really healthy. It was stunning, the nicest torch you'd ever see. That died, and you're just like, So everything starts to go wrong. And at that point, you do think, maybe I should just shut this down, walk away from it, and have 6 months off. And I didn't do that. I don't think I came close to it, but it's a thought that goes through your head. So yeah, it's the time when there's been issues that cause you ongoing problems, not just like a week or two, but months. And it's like,
it just chips away at you slowly sometimes.
It does, day by day. Yeah. And because it's such a big deal, because like if you're watching this live stream, you're probably quite into the hobby. So it's a big deal for you. So it gets you down, and every day you walk into your living room and it's there. Like, oh, hello, remember me? You failed me. Well done. Oh, cheers. Thanks for a reminder. So it's a cheery question. Good question, but yeah, a bit. You got me down now. I need another beer.
I wonder if Lycia's asking that question because that's how she feels herself. If you're still listening, then like put it in the chat if that's the reason you asked. People usually ask questions which are related to themselves, if you see what I mean.
It's very true. Yeah, I can't see anything in the chat, but yeah, it's just, the thing is, anytime I see that on Ultimate Reef, people post that quite regularly. Someone will have a major problem, and almost always it's hard to see, always darkest before the dawn, all that sort of stuff. It's hard to see it, but you do come through it. And I think you've just got to kind of just plow on and come back. I'm sure there are times when it's best not to do that, but most of the time people do recover. Anyway, next question. This is from Tomo Bishbosh. Just spotted the first tiny head of Aptasia in my sand bed. P.S. I'm blaming you both, as all my coral has been from you. I knew I'd get it eventually, and I'm sure. Ryan, are you selling Aptasia covered corals infested?
As far as I know, but you never know. Look, I always say you never know. But I had a conversation with someone today, actually. They was their very, very first corals, the corals that they bought. And I just said to them, look, my systems are the same as every other shop systems, where they will have some stuff in them, but it's all manageable. So if something happens, don't freak out. Like if you get an Aptasia, it can be dealt with. If you get, do you see what I mean? So
yeah.
Don't worry, Tom.
he's only joking.
No. I know that. I just I thought earlier when he asked that question, I thought I must tell people that, because it's not the end of the world. When you first see one, you're like, it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
but then after you've been in it this long, it doesn't matter, does it?
Anyway, I knew I'd get it eventually, Aptasia, and I'm sure there's more I can't see. Yeah, I'm aware of nudies and Aptasia X, but if they're in the sand bed, can I net them out? So I mean, in theory, yeah, you can remove them, but because it's an anemone and it has a foot, it grips onto the glass. So it'll be, if it's on the sand bed, it's not gripped to the sand, or highly unlikely, it's gripped to the glass underneath it. So it's quite difficult to get off. I did have one that had, I don't know if it was trying to walk around or whatever, but it had almost completely come off the glass. And I just whipped it up and did net it out like that. Yeah. But most of the time it was stuck to the glass. And I wouldn't personally bother trying to scrape it off the glass, because that's when it might release spores or whatever. So I'd better just to get something that will eat it.
Yeah. I mean, look, if it's tiny and the sand bed is like this thick, the chances are it's not going through. You could, but if it's like this, I know how I love doing. Yeah, 2 inches. If it's like 2 inches and the sand bed is like half an inch, then it probably has gone through to the bottom. Yeah.
But I've never bothered really. Manual removal is probably the best way to get rid of most pests. I've never really bothered with Aptasia. One, because it's quite difficult, and two, because there's probably millions of small ones. So I don't bother. So Australian stripies are brilliant for them. But Bergias as well, you've got to be patient. You've got to give it 5 or 6 months with Bergias. They don't make a dent early doors. You think to yourself, yeah, I know everyone says 6 months, but I'll start to notice after 3 months. You won't. But anyway, or maybe sometimes people will. But yeah, you can net them out, but they're probably stuck to the glass, so I wouldn't bother personally. And then the last question is from Malman, who says, question for both of you: is the cost, and this is one I want to do a live stream on, another great question, is the cost getting out of hand, and is it going to become a hobby that only the sort of well-off can afford? When I started, it was achievable for anyone. Still not cheap hobby, but possible. With increasing electricity costs and rising livestock costs, where do you see the hobby going? Thanks, Chris. And this is one of those questions that I think you can't really do it justice in 5 minutes. And I think actually we should do. Well, I couldn't remember. We must have done this before. If not on a live stream, we've probably both done videos on it. But we should do a proper full live stream where we talk about that. Because the short answer is, I think the short answer is no, actually.
Yeah.
And really, you can make the hobby as expensive or as cheap as you want. And there's people like you and me who get given a $5,000 fish tank and then another $5,000 worth of equipment all of a sudden, and then spend another 10 or 15 grand on fishing corals, because that's just the way we are. We don't care about paying our mortgage. We just want more fish. And that is the sort of stuff that rises to the top on social media in particular. So you can think, and people talk about expensive corals, and that catches the eye, and people talk about that more. So it absolutely can be really expensive. But if you want it to be cheap, you can't have a king eye angel or a gem tang, and you can't have the latest torch that everyone's talking about. But you can have some banging corals amazing fishing
Yeah.
corals for 15 quid, 20 quid.
Yeah.
Electricity is a bit expensive, but small tank, and you can imagine. Yeah,
But
it doesn't have to be.
that's
Basically, is the short answer.
that's why I wonder if all the people that were having 6-foot tanks before now had a 4-foot tank, would it be the same? Do you like because people go, oh, it's unaffordable now, but is it just as affordable if you downsize just one level? Well, not one level, two level, like 2
Yeah.
foot.
Yeah.
Would that then be the same cost? So you can still enjoy a 4-foot tank.
Yeah.
So I mean,
can't.
you had a 4-foot tank for years, didn't you? I think.
Yeah, loved it. Brilliant tank.
So
4-foot's a great size.
I think that is affordable. I think that you just have to downsize slightly. But I don't know, some of the fish and coral have got crazy as well. So, but then again, some of the corals got really cheap. It's hard. It's a hard one. If I want.
That's the thing. It's as expensive or cheap as you want, and there are some. It's not just the most fancy name torches that are expensive. There are some fish that used to be 30 quid, a yellow tank, for example, that is now 450 quid. So you can't have that. And so maybe your options have narrowed a little bit now, but you've got loads of stuff. The coral auction website, I'm sure corals go cheap on that sometimes.
Yeah,
your website,
even today, like they go for like $11.99 for a frag of loads of stuff, goniastrias, favias, and
the coral centre. They have loads of cheap corals. Sometimes they have corals that are like 4 quid. It's amazingly cheap. Your local fish shop, Reefkeeper Moss End, has tons. They're actually not very expensive. There are some shops that are expensive generally. Reefkeeper is not one of them. They've got expensive corals in there, but you will find loads like 15 quid. And I buy them regularly. So these are not just like your basic beginner stuff. They've got a favia in there at the moment, purple and green one. It's amazing. And it's like 20 quid.
Yeah.
Beautiful coral. So absolutely you can do. You might not be able to get a designer clownfish, but you can get a pair of bog standard clowns for 40 quid still.
Yeah.
40 quid's a lot of money for a couple of fish if you can buy a neon tetra for 3 quid. But
40 quid's a lot of money if they used to be 20 quid. That's where the problem is, or they used to be 16 pounds for a pair. That's where the issue is.
Yeah, and inflation across the board, everything is more expensive now anyway. But you can still do it cheaply. You can do, with no doubt about it. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need a Radion. You can buy the rip-offs of Radions. Going back to what we were talking about earlier. If you want a return pump, buy Jecod. They're brilliant. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not like it's going to break after 6 months. So you can do it really cheaply. Buy secondhand. You absolutely can do. But maybe like the average has gone up. I don't know. But it's not a rich man's hobby. I don't think it's easy to think that if you look at Facebook and Instagram and whatever, but it's not. It doesn't have to be. Absolutely, you can do it cheaply. Like you and I have got to the point where if a coral is £100, no problem. I'll buy that. That is not a normal attitude. You're weird if you're not batting an eyelid at 100 quid for a coral.
But we don't have kids. We don't smoke. We don't. Well, like I barely drink. The last time I had a drink probably was like 3 weeks ago. And I don't think you drink a lot either. So like this is our thing. Do you see what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly.
This is our thing. Some people, I don't know, they want to go out to the pub every week, or they want to. So that's why it's like when you're fully in it, it's fine. So I don't see it as a crazy expense.
It's a fair question, and I can see why you would think that, but I don't think there are parts of it that are more expensive, but we'll go into that in a deeper dive another time. And good news, he wants to give you one of his kids.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I also saw that Les has been outbid on the trackie, so that's the one thing I'm watching just to like amazing to see if he wins it.
We've talked. Tell Ryan to reduce the price of the rainbow trackie before it finishes.
Yeah.
I still want the that red trackie you've got.
No.
No. I'm not even going to engage with it.
No.
The other kind of there is a bit of news, by the way, but not much. The other kind of reef tank reset that you're going to do is when you're not happy with the aesthetics. I'm going to rattle through this a little bit quickly because I don't know if this is going to resonate with Ryan.
I'm not sure what you mean by that, but okay.
You're above this, right?
Enough for you, Alex. Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm saying you're more sophisticated than this.
Oh,
you're
I see. Okay.
This, right?
Okay.
But this is, so I did this in my last tank, and I found I had one island, all the corals were blue, teal, or green, basically.
Yeah.
They were just all different shades of the same color, more or less. And like, to be fair, they was Monte Undata. That's such a nice coral. Loads of corals that were really nice. You don't like it. I love that. Loads of corals that were really nice. I had a really nice acro that was like the same color, but it was just the same. And I just like, you know what? I'm bored of it. And if you're bored of it, fine, get rid of it. I don't care what anyone else thinks. I don't care if people think I'm an idiot for doing that. I want to do it, so I got to look at it every day. So aesthetics is a thing. The main issues that I see with this that people talk about is if you've made poor coral choices like I did, Tropic Thunder that took over the whole bloody aquascape, for example, Tropic Thunder Monty, fast grower, all fast growing corals. Steep angles, your aquascape, getting your aquascape wrong. So if you have sheer cliff faces on your rock work, terrible at placing. You can't stick stuff to them because gravity, you know. Getting your aquascape wrong, having no hiding spaces for fish, those sorts of things, those are the reasons you might want to do it. And this came from someone asked the other day in the comments, and they said that they were thinking of changing. I can't remember what it was exactly, but maybe they were thinking of changing half their rock. And he was saying, look, what I'm thinking of doing is putting all the new rock into the tank for 6 months and then remove the old rock. And then I've got, you know, the new rock has had a chance to seed and all this sort of stuff. And my approach to that, if you've got a new tank that's maybe 6 months old or less than 6 months old, I wouldn't go ripping out a ton of, even maybe even younger than that, but I wouldn't go ripping out a ton of the rock, because that's where all the good bacteria, your Yakult, live, and you need that. You don't want to risk it. But if you've got a mature tank, you'll be surprised at how much rock you can take out and it not make an ounce of difference. It's better to err on the side of caution rather than go crazy. But I've had before where I've taken out 25% of the rock and coral and put in a brand new rock straight away, no problems whatsoever. And I wouldn't be against doing that. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. You definitely don't want to be removing your sand bed. Because if you look
up, I said earlier, didn't I?
Well, if you look up, to be fair, if you do it over a long period of time, so you take out one scoop a week for 6 months, fine. But if you look up people who've removed their sand bed completely because you've decided you don't want it, it almost always causes a massive instability. I don't know exactly what's going on biologically, but problems, basically, bacteria, all sorts, nutrients, just you ruin everything. So you don't want to be removing your sand bed. But the instability doesn't come from, if you remove half your rock work in a 5-year-old tank, the instability doesn't come from losing the bacteria. I think you've probably got enough there anyway. It comes from the swing you're going to get in. So on my tank, I had a ton of coral in there that was absorbing a load of calcium and alkalinity every day, right? When you pull that out, suddenly your tank is absorbing less of that stuff. So you've got to think, well, I'm dosing 100 milliliters per day of alkalinity. I've taken out a third of my corals. Therefore, I'm going to reduce the dosing by a third, roughly. Okay. You've got to work that out, and you've got to test. You've got to be on testing. If you've got an alkalinity tester, set it to test every hour after you do it, because I got that wrong. So I anticipated. I took out a massive chunk and gave you or sold you a load of the corals, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what, I'm going to reduce. I think I reduced it by my dosing by like 25%, and that wasn't enough. So that went all my parameters went skyrocketing, and so I had to reduce it by more. And it's probably better to reduce it by too much, so it drops too quickly, than it is to reduce it by too little, so it spikes too quickly.
Yeah.
But just test as often as you can, like within hours of it going out, basically. And that's the problem, basically. That's the problem that you're most likely to have, is your parameters are suddenly all over the place. But also plan your new scape. So don't just think, I'm going to whip it out and I've got a few rocks and I'll put them in, I'll see what's what. Spend a few weeks or hours or whatever dry scaping your new scape on your kitchen table, or buy one that you've from a company who make them ceramic scapes or whatever. Get it all set up so it's perfect and it solves all your problems. So if you've got steep edges, no steep edges, nice slopes. If you've got no hiding space for fish, loads of caves and swim throughs and all that sort of stuff. And spent ages doing that because you shouldn't be in a rush. It doesn't really matter. Just don't wing it. Get everything ready, and then again, don't start at the end of the day, which I've done before. Start at the start of the day, and you'll need a load of water because you'll probably lose a load of water or lose like displacement if you're taking out too much rock or putting in too much rock or whatever. So, but that to be honest, that's the easier one, and that is, I think that's more or less it.
Yep, I agree.
Mine's nodding. I told you wouldn't be interested in this.
No, that's not true. I'm just, multitasking is what I'm doing.
What are you? Is this Coral Auctions admin?
No, I'm just seeing. Les said he won, so I was just seeing what, and that's good that he won. So
he's not interested in me, people. So, but there you go.
There was a comment that I saw earlier, and I didn't want to interrupt you, but I think it's really important that you read it, and I don't know if you saw it.
Who's it from? Probably.
Let me see if I can find it. I think
whilst you're doing that, I'm going to open the window again because
it's a tough day for you, isn't it, Alex? I can't find it because everyone's been talking so much. But someone, there it is. No, that's not the one. It's Grover's Reef. So he did two. He did. He said I couldn't be bothered with Ryan's channel recently because it's like he does not care. In the last week, I can't wait to see his content. That was one. But the other thing he did, which actually was nice, so he's basically saying I've got better, was he said, I don't think you realize, I'm paraphrasing, how important that you are, as in this live stream is, to hobby information from it. It says, you guys talk about serious reefs. Do you understand that you are one of the biggest points of reference for reef tank knowledge going around? I hope you understand that. So I just wanted to make sure you'd seen that.
No, so I haven't seen it. I can't find it, but I don't actually think of that. To be honest, I don't at all. But cool. If some people think that, wicked. If loads of people think that, wicked. But yeah,
I think it's just important that people know, that not people, but that you know, because I think it's nice to be.
You think I'm having an existential crisis, don't you?
No, like every Sunday, like we could be sitting and watching. I just sit and other people watch, and people all the time they come and see me, and and I remember I see people in person because of the Coral Farm, and they go, I absolutely love what you do. It's really helpful, helps me go to sleep at night. I watch it when I'm driving because something being bought, but you see what I mean? Like so many say, I don't think you realize the effect that that you, because you put more effort in this than I do.
Yeah, no,
but that have on people. So I just wanted to make sure you saw that comment because it's important that you know. That's it.
Thanks,
and
man.
then people are saying I think that, and I agree. I'm just
one
letting
person
you know.
is. So there's two people, Ryan. We've had an impact on two people. So.
Just two people. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate
anyway,
it.
I'll let you. It's news time, isn't it? Or is it? No, it's fish
not
of the week.
Quite
isn't
yet.
It?
Don't try and get out of giving the fish of the week. See, this is the thing. He knows because I get you guys to vote. He now knows.
I'm not sure on this fish of the week, but I saw one and I was like, "Oh, that is cool." So it's cool for me. It won't be cool for anyone else.
So I actually think this is I think this is cool. Let me just type this in. Is the XX a good fish of the week? What is the fish of the week, Ryan?
It's a Collins angelfish. And the reason I picked this is because I think they also call them like cocoa keeling angelfish is the other thing that they have the name of them. But I assumed it was named by a guy called Colin, not my old fish. But they had a tank bred one of these at the wholesaler. And I was like, I firstly have never seen that fish before. And secondly, I was like, I want that fish, even though I know nothing about it. And I think I wanted it. You know how sometimes people like gem tanks, people want them because they are pretty, but they're also like a show fish. They're expensive. So people go, oh, I like that fish because like it's a cool fish to have. Whereas when I saw this, I was like, I've never seen that before. I have no idea what the price is, but I think it's cool enough that I want to buy it. I didn't buy it, However, I think if you look at the price of them, they're like £300, and they're probably. But I liked it. I liked
For a
it.
rare, and this is a dwarf angel, by the way. For a rare dwarf angel, that's not. I
Yeah.
mean, don't get me wrong. This is cheap. We were just talking about how cheap the hobby is, and now I'm
Yeah.
saying 300 quid is cheap. I know that's
Yeah.
not, but I don't think that's terrible. Like you get other angels like Venustus, they're like £1,000 or more, £3,000.
Yeah. Well,
And that's a cool
Venustus.
fish.
No. I think Venustus. I think you're thinking of a different fish.
What's the one? Interruptus.
Oh yeah. See, Venustus is the other
Interruptus.
ones that they do tank bread, and I have looked at them so many times, thinking like one day I will probably buy one of those. Impatient Reefer has just said exactly the same thing that you said. It looks the opposite to the damsel that you got. It's like the opposite way around.
Yeah. Reversey Percy. I can't find the comment, but yeah. Yeah, it looks like a Reversey Percy Starkey.
Yeah, actually, I never noticed that, and there's 3 people now who've said the same thing.
Independently.
It was like, it was tiny though as well. This was what, like, when you're buying tank bred fish, they're like angels. They come in like fingernail size. They're so small. So if you leave it a little while, they'll get a bit bigger. But I really liked it, so I'll consider it.
So we're pretty close, but I think you're just about ahead, Ryan. And I'm going to end the poll because I'm going to do you a favor.
See, I want to pick fish that people either haven't seen or are interesting now since I've started doing this. So if people go, "Oh, I don't like that because I've never seen that before and it's boring or whatever," I'm just going to pick a fucking. I don't always swear on it. I'm like, that's how mad I'm getting. I'm just going to pick an Achilles tang next time because I know I'll win it.
54%. You won.
There you go. So I won't win on the coral. I definitely won't win on the coral. But I wanted to pick a coral which wasn't crazy expensive, and it's like it's a beginner coral, and it has good things going for it. That's why I picked that. So
is the a good coral of the week? Ryan, qu'est-ce que c'est le coral de?
I'm never going to win this one, but I've gone for a Skittles mushroom. Now they're just like green with red or orange dots on them. And the reason I picked this, as I said, was because I want to pick a coral which is like a beginner coral, so that needs some love. Most mushrooms are just boring. That one's slightly less boring. It's not that expensive as far as like for a coral. I would say you could
25 quid at
25 quid.
absmarines.co.uk.
Yeah, and you'll probably get, once you've got that one in a week's time, you'll have 20. So it really is not that expensive, and they're hardy. So that's why I didn't want to go for a rainbow can or something like that. I just thought I'm going for a thing that people can appreciate.
I presume you don't have these.
I don't have. I actually got something similar, but it's much darker. As in, I got it from the wholesaler this week, where it's got like a dark green with red dots on it. But that one was just 15 quid. It's on the auction site. I don't know if it's sold or not yet, but yeah. So how are we doing?
Well, first off, Malman says they're a pain to keep. That surprises me.
I like mushrooms.
Oh, do you mean because they spread too much?
And some mushrooms, and I think that people who start new tanks these days often start with no live rock, and then they have no nutrients in their system. And then if you put a mushroom in there, it then melts, and they go, "Oh, mushrooms are hard to keep." But it's because you've got no nutrients. That's why they're hard to keep. Yeah. So I think and discosomas, which is what that is more likely to melt than the redactus are. Okay. So maybe that's why that. But oh yes, that was good. That was a much higher rating actually. I was surprised by that.
70%. You won. 70% say yes. I disagree. I think it's a terrible of the week, but I'm a snob, so.
Yeah. See, we don't listen to you.
No.
So,
right. Well, good. Sorry, go on.
In Tasmania, I can't imagine that I wouldn't say that the hobby's massive in Australia, and I imagine that being on an island, Australia, even harder to get eventually. I don't know if that's true or not, but
Yeah, I wonder if there are. I'd love Tasmania. Really appeals to me, by the way. But I wonder if there are shops
Why?
in Tasmania.
I'm intrigued.
I think the climate's a little bit more like what I'm used to than the hotter parts, and
Cold,
it just
raining.
yeah, and it looks a bit more. Well, there's less city. I don't like cities, so I wouldn't like
Yeah.
Sydney. Although actually Sydney's cool. Anyway, never mind. You know what's next, Ryan?
News.
Bum, bum, bum. There we go. News, and it's rainy day. Right, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it's going to water on my
The window again.
yeah.
Is it really hot in that room or something?
It always hang on. It always gets hot in here. It's fine, but I just like the ventilation. But yeah, it's going to be dripping on my lights and on my my monitors. News, Ryan, reefing news. No one cares about the rain in the UK. Big news this week, actually. I was going to mention this beforehand, but I was like, you know what? Let's get Ryan's reaction live.
Okay.
Salifert. Who's Salifert?
Yeah.
Testing company.
Yeah, I know
They've been
Salifert. They're the
sold.
testing company. Yeah.
Been sold to a company called Easy Life International.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, I wonder why they'd want to buy. Well, what does Easy Life International do?
So the good news. So whenever a company gets sold, my first thought at the moment, because this is rampant everywhere, is it's just another private equity thing where they're just going to strip out all the good stuff and ruin it for everybody.
Yeah.
Because that's just the way life works at the moment. But this is been sold to another Dutch company. I'm pretty sure Salifert is a Dutch company. The Dutch company is called Easy Life International, as I mentioned, but it sounds good. So the owner is Habib Shekhar. I forgot.
I've met him, I think.
Shekhar. Oh, have you really?
I possibly, maybe at Interzoo in 2018, maybe. That's not definite. Okay. He's definitely listening. He's like, I've never met this guy.
Tunes in every week, no doubt. Now I've lost the control of my mouse. That's really annoying. Let me try refreshing. So the owner has sold basically, but the company is called Easy Life, and they are a scientific company. So this is the full press statement from Easy Life. For many years, Salifert has been a well-known reference for quality and reliability. We can all agree with that. Yeah. These shared values are exactly why we wanted to bring our two companies together. Easy Life International is a Dutch company founded in 1998 by, I'm going to butcher these names now, Jan Laugerman, who's a biologist, and Mr. Toon Vermeulen, who's a chemist. Important. Yeah. They specialized in the development of aquarium treatments and solutions to improve water quality and fish health. Salifert's expertise in producing high-precision test kits and measuring key water parameters in aquariums perfectly complements Easy Life's mission, helping aquarists maintain stable, healthy aquatic environments. In practical terms, this means for you continuity of Salifert product range, so they're not going to go changing everything immediately. And by the way, Habib Shekhar is going to stay on. It's not clear if he's staying on permanently, but it talked about he's going to stay on, and it talked about easy transition, all that sort of stuff. So certainly short term, I don't know what that means, but anyway, he's not ditching it straight away. And he says, maintaining the high quality standards, new opportunities for development and innovation in the long term. Our teams are now working closely together to ensure a smooth transition and a consistently high level of service. Mr. Habib Shekhar, the current owner of Salifert, will stay with us to ensure a full transfer of ownership of his knowledge and will remain active in the product's development, which makes me think he's hanging around if he's staying around for development. Anyway, there's some other stuff in there, but that's the main bit. But the things that I took away from that really were it's being sold to an aquarium company. So this is part of what they do. It's a natural fit.
Yeah.
There's a chemist and a biologist, so they know their stuff. I don't know if this chemist specializes in reagents or titration or whatever. But anyway, it's no one likes change at all ever. And when it's an important company to the hobby like Salifert, who make the best test kits for many parameters, calcium and calcium and magnesium in particular for me, and affordable tests for pretty much every parameter you can imagine. there would be a big deal if that was if they went downhill or if they disappeared. So it's an important company to the hobby, but it doesn't sound at this stage anyway like it's going to be a bad thing. This doesn't sound. I would rather it stays the same, but if it's going to be sold to someone else, I would be happy to choose a company like this that doesn't sound like they just want to strip all the assets out and make a load of money and make all the employees redundant and reduce quality and all that sort of stuff. They sound like reputations and all that sort of thing. So
yeah,
but there you go. Son of Her has been sold. Doesn't say how much, which is obviously what you want to know.
Probably a lot, I assume. They're a global company.
So yeah, they must sell a lot. And they do flatworm exit as well, which is really popular.
Yeah.
I think they do some other things as well that you don't necessarily think of, but there we go. Son of Her has been sold.
Yeah.
The next thing, the other thing, so there's not a massive amount of news this week, but the Red Sea app is receiving an update, so you get more quick actions. There was a video about this week. So at the moment there are I'm
like, do not yawn. I was like,
you
I just let
see that in your face.
A little like
it's creepy. So currently there are 3 quick actions in the Red Sea app. I think it's maintenance, emergency, and I can't remember what the other one is. Anyway, they're expanding that, so there are 7, and they're all customizable. So you can choose it. So you can have 3 feed modes, Ryan. That's what you're missing in your life, isn't it?
That is what I want.
So it's things like you can have one for corals and one for fish. So if it's corals, I guess it turns all flow off. If it's fish, maybe it keeps the return pumps on or the power heads on or whatever. You can set them so the shutdown. There's a delay in shutdown, so some things will shut down after the others, or will turn back on after the others. So your skimmer will come back on after your return pump, so it doesn't just flood it when you return. I'm losing him. You can.
No, I just think like I don't need any of these things. I don't use feed modes, so why do I need 3 feed modes?
You can set them to reduce intensity as well instead of turning off completely. All these things anyway. And they're coming to the app. I had a quick play with it yesterday, and the thing that I'm most interested in is photography mode, basically, because I take a lot of photos and videos of the tank, but it wasn't working properly with my lights, and I think it only works properly with Gen 2 lights.
Okay,
which is a shame because that's a really good one. There's you can go and see if you've got the Red Sea app. You can go and have a look, and it'll implement it as you've got 7 feed modes and maintenance modes. Basically, you can set them up for water changes, photography, feeding corals, feeding fish, all that sort of stuff. And this is almost certainly as part of their expansion into what's it called, the controller. So the app is now more than just I want to turn my skimmer on and off. It's moving in towards aquarium control, and this is like another step towards that.
Yeah. Nathan, I feel like companies should hire me. They just would do. We can do like it doesn't need to be in person, and they tell me their new ideas. And if I manage to get through the idea, then they should make it. And if I don't, they should go back to the drawing board.
You're the worst person for that because you don't.
I have very low tolerance for boring things, so I think that
people want this.
Do they?
Yeah. So the photo. Go on.
One in the chat. I know we're coming to an end now, so you've got like probably 30 seconds to respond. Has anyone ever thought, you know what? I need 3 feed modes.
2, definitely 2 feed modes. I can see for some people, but I like the photo mode in particular. I would like that, and it's annoying that I can't have it.
Oh no, and
that's not just because of YouTube. I take photos anyway. So, but I think a lot of people want this. You're a bad person to.
I don't think the funny thing is you think that I'm a bad person. I think that you're a bad person to be the person that wants it as well. I think you're the exception one way and I'm the exception the other.
Maybe. I'm not saying everybody wants it. There are lots of people who just don't care, but I think you'd be surprised how many people do. Anyway,
there you go.
That is the news. So no more news, Ryan. Although we've had a request for news, Ryan. Do you have any updates on Aqua 2026?
I don't have any updates. I spoke to the person who runs it the other day. They're just looking at the dates, basically. That's all I know. So I don't know anything else.
Watch this space.
Yeah, I think an announcement. They said to me that an announcement would happen soon. but that's all I've been told. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, you don't always get like insider information because you have a live
No,
stream.
no.
So
I used to think that I would do if I had a YouTube channel, but you get squat. Maybe
yeah.
like 1% more than most people, but
Half the
that's
time
it.
people don't want to tell you information because if you knows your secrets.
Loose lips sink ships.
Yeah.
But actually, on the point, just going back just a sec, on the point of controlling that sort of stuff, Apex and that Neptune Apex is huge. I know.
Yeah.
But Neptune Apex is huge.
Yeah.
People love that. So, I'm right.
I don't know. I'm not getting into this.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We might be doing next week. There's a couple of things we might be doing, but I do like the idea of doing a deep dive on whether the hobby is expensive and actually looking at all sorts of things like stats and inflation and all that sort of thing. So we might do that.
Exciting.
There's another one that Ryan wants to do as well. So we might well do that. But right. Cheers, guys. Catch you next week. Bye.
See you later.